We are live.
We are. Yes, we are. We're live and alive. Hello, everyone watching, whether you're watching live with us on Dr. Dane Here's Facebook page or Instagram. My name is Megan Hill, and I'm joined by one of my most favorite playmates in the entire world, Miss Katarina Wallentin.
Thank you.
And we actually met each other because of the ESB. I've been working with Katarina and Dane for a very long time, and I remember meeting you, and it was an ESB in Toronto. I think it was like the second time we'd actually met after working together for so long. And it's just one of those classes that no one really has ever been able to put into words. Everyone wants to know what it is and what you get out of it, but it's like, it is just wow to me. And so that's why we wanted to come on today. And we are taking over Dane's pages because he's very busy in Australia. And we wanted to invite you guys to this possibility now and in the future. And if you've attended, you could attend again. But so we're calling this the ESB and finding the magic of you, me, and all of us. So Kat, what is the ESB for you?
Well, it's funny, even with the title, like the finding the magic of you, me, and all of us. It's ESB for me is going beyond. It is the first time I actually managed to go beyond my mind in that whole computation system that I've been raised to live after and really bought so thoroughly. And even I still, like one of my very first sessions, it's still like with me all the time when I had a private session with Dr. Dane here, and I came in and I had all these things that I thought this session would handle.
You had a list, right?
Oh, I totally had a list. I think I even like had a list on my phone. Like I had a list that this should handle. And he's, took time to talk to me for quite a while to look at all these things that I thought this would handle. And then I finally kind of like let go of enough of the mind chatter or all the problems that I decided that I had, that I could go and actually get on a table. Because what we were talking about with the ESB, especially in the beginning, nearly all ESB sessions were done on a table. Today,
a massage table, not like a dinner table.
Yes, I did not go and lay down on the dinner table. I went and lay down on a massage table.
That would be funny. I think that we should start doing that.
Would have been really funny. So, and then I had this session that had nothing and everything to do with what we talked about, but really like nothing and everything. And when I kind of put my ass up again, I had a whole new way of looking at life and living. And that is that unexplainable part of the ESB that is so hard when somebody asks you, what is it? What is it about? It's not about anything, and it's about everything. There's no manual. It's really like what Dane calls it is that you get this energetic platform for living, a new energetic platform for living. And since it is an energetic platform, it's not a platform you can read yourself to. It's not a platform that you can have your list. And it is something so different that it is unexplainable. And yet it's probably is one of the most tangible things I've done simultaneously. So for me, my life would be completely different if the ESB wasn't part of it. Like I can't even imagine today who I would be, what my life would be like without that energy. It's probably nearly 15 years ago since I had that first session. So it changes on a level that really gets you to the core of who you could choose to be. It's my best explanation. It was a very long explanation, Megan.
It's beautiful, and it was showing, because I was like, how do I explain? Like my very first ESB class. So the ESB class, which is what we're talking about today. ESB is the energetic work that Dane does, which the sessions and all the stuff. And if you've been on things like 15 billion or the reset, he's always using the ESB energy. And then he has this class that is all about this. It's all about you. It's all about us. And the way that you brilliantly spoke about that, it's like everyone, it seems like, kind of thinks that they have their own world that they're living in, you know what I mean, with your list of problems, and it's probably only you, and everybody else has something figured out that you don't. And it's like when you, and a lot of that's handed to you, right? You know, like you're born into your family and you're Swedish, and I grew up in the Midwest, and I remember my very first ESB class, I actually got called up on the table, and I thought I had no idea. I didn't have a list. I was just sort of like, I knew I needed to be there, but I didn't know why. And everything I thought was me was flipped, exploded, tornadoed. Like this foundation, like you're talking about this platform. I didn't even like have a platform that was anything close to what my energetic reality is now. Like my life might look similar, you know what I mean? Like to what people who maybe knew me 15 years ago or whatever, but energetically, I remember just being like, meh, you know, it was like, I thought meh was my energetic platform. And he brilliantly like exploded it into, you're a supernova. You are like a fiery unicorn that's undefined and has never been seen before. And you don't have to, it might be this energy around you, but you don't have to be that just because other people are. You can be you and be aware of things. And like I had sort of like melded everything that I was aware of as me. And this like, it's that platform, like he says, it's for you, it's for your reality. So you can actually start discovering who you are. And brilliantly, I think in these classes, like every single session, every single question, every single person that shows up, we're so interconnected. It's like, I mean, there's been classes where I'll like sit there and think, I'm hosting, I'm good, I'm like working, like I don't even have anything, nothing's gonna, like this is great. And then somebody asks a question, and I'm like, oh my God, this is everything that's been going on. You know?
It's so funny too, because the two things you said, the thing about the me, like the me that you call, like, what was your life? And I think that's one of the things that it's everything is energy. And we talk about that. And even out in the world now, a lot of people talk about that everything is energy. And it means that we keep trying to think our way out of me. And instead, what this is, it's actually showing you and inviting you to choose to be something different, which actually is the only way to get out of me. You can't really take your way out of it. And the cool part is what this thing where it's a synthesis of everyone and everything. So in the class, it's one of the most beautiful things is that it doesn't really matter who gets a session, like who gets called up on the kitchen table. Who gets called up. It is about whoever. Dane talks about it as people popping like popcorns. Like he has like a whole casserole of people and they're like heating up and, going like quicker. And then one of them pops because that one is ready to take the rest of the group with them. And if with popcorn, when one pops, then all the rest kind of comes too. So, but that particular, like, but also becoming aware of that, because in the beginning, a lot of times people think that the only thing that matters is that I get a session. Yeah. So that it's very focused on that sometimes when you start, but when you go to a lot of these classes, it ceases to matter at all, because whoever comes up there, whoever is able to be that source, I guess, of a different energy to the opening the door will invite the rest of the room to go there, and you'll discover like, oh wow, that's what I've been stuck in that without even knowing I've been stuck in that. I've been having that up because we're so interconnected that we actually are aware of what's going on in the world on a much bigger scale than just problems that seem like you can read about here. It's a movement of energies in the whole world, and all of those tend to show up or do show up in the ESB classes.
And it's like, if you will let your mind maybe just for right now, it's like, I have a very powerful mind as well. I'm very good at thinking things, but if you'll just like drop that for a minute and like give it another job and let it just like tap into whether or not you've watched a lot of videos on Dane's YouTube, like all of that has the ESB energy woven into it. And if you'll just like drop whatever the wall is, the barrier, whatever your mind can't figure it out, and let yourself receive.
Yeah.
You get the session in the class, you get sessions that you watch on YouTube. If you know what I mean, there's so much out there that will contribute to you if you're willing to receive it. You know, it's like sometimes we think we have to figure it all out before we'll open the door and let someone in to contribute to our lives. And this is like, hi, you know?
And one of the things with the classes too that are interesting, because yes, the ESB energy is like in every call Dane does, in everything he does. And in the classes, what I find is that something occurs when a group of people choose to come together for 3 days and explore these energies. And choice is creation. Like we know that, like when somebody chooses, they're actually already creating whatever is going to occur. And then it's like this actualizing of the energies moving. And it's such a unique, miraculous thing that all these people in the room and online, they've all chosen this at this time, this class right now, just like you have, because you're also there. And that synthesis that creates, it's magical. It's like every single person has something to contribute, but also something that they require from the class. And
Yeah.
I don't know, that choice is such a big part of those classes that it's like a journey from the day the class starts. It has like even like it goes down, like you can kind of follow it, you know, okay, oh, we're going here now, like we're going in this direction, and you know you're going to move in another direction, but it's like a wave that you go with. And I think that particularly that it has 3 days, you get 3 days to explore this. It creates
a lot more days because that week leading up to it is also part of.
that is very true, or even monthly.
The moment you choose it, let me just tell you, the wave begins.
Yeah, and once you choose it, you are already, like, you are in creation. So you're already part of creating that class. You're part of creating you in that class. You're part of creating what's going to come up in that class, because creation goes beyond time. It isn't only when you're sitting there in class. It isn't only if you get to be on the table. It's that whole energetic exploration and journey to a different platform, a synthesis of all of us. So it's funny with this live, because I was looking at it before, you know, should we look at what we want to say or what it should be about?
And think
Yeah,
about it
you know. And the ESP has such a different energy that you can't even do that. You can't even write a list. You can just show up and see where it takes you.
And to me, like you said, it's a 3-day class and it has these waves. And for me, it's like that's also shown me that I can navigate the waves of life. You know what I mean? So it's like, yes, for this, we can show up and be. What if all you have to do, what if your very being, you know, being gets a bad rap? It's like, who cares about being? You know, let's talk about money and blah, 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 whatever. But it's like, if you have all of you and more of you and all of you and more of you, then everything is possible. Nothing can ever take you down. And it's like, you just know you got it. And that's what it's done for me, is like, okay, I got this. You know, it's like, let's just keep going. And there's always more available. Like the moment that you're like, all right, I'm tapped out on change and possibilities, I'm good, I'm gonna take a break. You know, it's like, whoa. If you really get like, you are an infinite being with infinite possibilities, it's like there's always more available to you. And it doesn't always have to be the rocket ship. It can be this like gentle, you know, breeze as well. And so, you know, if you're on here like, I still don't know what it is, it's okay.
And it is what you were saying, that the capacity, this energetic platform, it's probably just because we can't find a better word, but this energetic platform that allows you to, like you're saying, flow with the different flows that comes in your life, but it also allows you to get out of this little bubble that we think are us. It's the synthesis of being. So not only you get that sense of an ease with the flow, but you also get a different sense of being with other people. And I think that's one of the main changes for me is the capacity of me to be aware of everyone and everything that goes on and have ease with that
Yeah.
keeps increasing. It's not like it's not a pill you eat, and it's not about, and this is like a continuous journey into this whole world of energetics. So, and with time, like the more you explore this, the more ease all the energies can come to you with. It's like a backward way of saying that. But yeah.
I love that you said that, because I went to this conference, like a wellness conference last year, and it was all about mind. It was like mind, body, and everyone was like, it was awesome. There were so many cool people there, talking about nutrition and your gut and chiropractic stuff and body stuff and including plants in your life, in your office, and like things to make your life better. And we were there and we presented access bars, and Terry Hope, who did the research, she talked about, in order to have like total wellness, you really need to have mind, body, and spirit. And I was like, oh my God, that's what the being is. Like, if you don't have your very being and your spirit, then it's really hard to care if you get up and go for an extra walk every day, or if your gut's healthy. It's like, because your being is so huge, and your body. And this, I think the other part of this that I just want to make sure we touch on is, it includes the body. It's like, there's a lot of stuff out there that, you can meditate and leave your body. Like, this is where you, the big infinite being that you are, can have ease with your body and with this whole reality. And it includes everything. And again, I don't know how that whole thing works, but it's like, everything with my body gets easier. Everything with my relationships get easier, money stuff, like all the stuff. And everything that changes it was absolutely nothing I thought that would change it.
And it goes back to that synthesis idea again, because we are mind, spirit, body, right? That's what you said.
Well,
And then
that's what this reality likes to say. We're like way more than that, but
yeah, but the interesting part is really, for me, that sense, what you bring up, body, being, universe, everything, like the earth, all of that is included because it's the energetic synthesis of being. So it all depends on who shows up, where do we go, where do we take this particular ESB, and we may end up exploring the multiverse, or we may end up really looking at the relationship to our parents. Like, it goes all,
like we're doing both simultaneously.
we're both. And I would say it's the greatest adventure. Like, and so much in access consciousness is an adventure. Everything really in access consciousness is an adventure. And this is one of the most unexplainable parts, which saying a lot, since access is quite unexplainable in so many different ways. But this particular area, I would say, if you would like something different that you never could explain to yourself what it is, the ESB is one of the few things that actually has so much space. It includes everything that we're looking for, and without being an answer. It's so funny. Like you're saying, it's so easy to go there. It's like a possibility. This energetic space that gets created in the ESB class with the ESB energy, it's a possibility that is opening up for you or whoever is there to choose something different. And I've never come across any possibility like that. There may be others out there, but for me, this has been the most undefined and the most like open possibility to choose something different, not from here, but from my being.
Yeah. And I think that like it's like there are several ESB classes that happen every year, like 3 to 4 of them, sometimes more, who knows, everything changes. But there is a link here on the screen. It's accessconsciousness.com/energetic synthesis. If that's a hard word to spell, don't worry, we'll put the link somewhere where you can just click on it. But just know that you're invited. We have one coming up in Spain and online, March 8th through the 10th, I believe. And then also in April, I think it's the 7th, 5th through the 7th, April 5th through the 7th. And that's going to be at El Lugar in Costa Rica. And that's, that's pretty much it for the first half of the year. So if this is something that you're like, yes, please, right now, go for it. But also just let this like tuck away in your world and see when it pings, because you'll know when, and you'll know where, and you'll know how, and if it's online or live.
And I want to add, for any of you who've heard of, we've done Symphony group tasters, we've done Symphony, Symphony classes of different kinds. Exactly. So the ESB energy is the beginning of the Symphony energy, and it actually goes through the whole symphony. It's the part that Dane started with when he started to explore this whole universe. So it's like the origin story.
It is the original. If you don't know, the Being You Changing the World book, which is, an international bestseller and in like a billion languages, Ms. Katarina here took a lot of transcripts from ESB classes to create that. Just saying, if you like that book,
Yep. It's funny. It's like the origin story of the Being You, of the Symphony classes, of the Symphony energies. So it has that the beginning that continues to move. It's not a finished. It's like it keeps developing. It keeps changing. I am so thrilled to see what comes up now this year. We have so much has happened since the last ESP. I can't even remember. I think it was in November.
Yeah.
That's a million years ago now. So what will this ESP be like? Where can we go this time? So that if you enjoy the Symphony energies, this energy is part of that and more.
Yeah.
And not more in a comparative sense, but in a,
because using words is hard to talk about the ESB, because you're aware of like, well, that doesn't sound exactly right, but also it is online. So I did just want to point that out. And I've seen, you don't have to get called up on the dinner table. I've seen some of the most beautiful sessions done online as well, when Dane calls someone up on the table, but they're online. And, so if you can't get to Spain or you can't get to El Lugar, even though I highly recommend bringing your body to class, it's awesome. Just know that is a possibility for both of them, for all of them in the future as well.
Yeah. And what else do we want to add? It's like the ESP energy literally went in and took over our brains.
Yeah.
And now it's swirling around.
Your brain does stop working during classes. It's amazing. If you're a thinker, it is like, it's great.
And it's funny. I think that both Megan and I are thinkers, right? So we both really enjoy this because it's so different from what we think we need to be. It actually, like, it invites us to be something we never really thought we could be or learned how to be. So if you're a thinker and you think, oh, this energy thing, that's probably not for me. What if that is exactly what you've been looking for, not even knowing? And it may not be this, but in general, like a lot of the times we think that the thing we avoid the most is actually our strongness, like the thing that we don't know how to do at all.
Yeah. And it's oftentimes not valued. You know what I mean? Like, it's not something that you are given a pat on the back for, like, wow, look how much space you're being right now. It's like it's not acknowledged. But in these classes and everything really that Access Consciousness does, with especially Dane and Gary and Al, the facilitators, it is. There was one question I thought was interesting. Somebody sent in that they've been doing ESB, they've been on reset, and they still and they have no clue, like, what's the difference, what's going on, what's changed. Like, they're just like, and I wondered if you wanted to address that, because I thought that was so funny, because it actually is part of the journey of it. Like, it's like you said, it's nothing and everything. Like, if you've been on reset, which is a 15-day program that was $15, and you can buy it for $15 still. And then there was another one that was $47. So if you are like somewhere on the planet and you haven't heard about it, you can still be a part of it. But notice your life before that, and then notice where you are now and what's changed.
Well, I think it's so interesting that you said that, because when I started to come to ESB classes and work with Dane, in the beginning, it was very clear when the ESB energy went on. And you could perceive in class, you could perceive, oh, now he's going to do a session soon, because you could perceive the energy starting. And it was super clear. And then you could just, oh, now pick somebody, person went on the table, the session kind of like went into the wave. And it was much more defined, like session time, not session time. Now, that's 15 years ago for me, and Dane has done this way longer than that. So he is the ESB. Dane can't really, like, for him now, he walks through the world ESBing. Like,
it's not a switch.
No, it's not a switch on and off anymore. He just bees it. So when you come on a call with him, we said 15 billion, relax, that we have coming on now, the ESB energy will always, always be present. I don't think he knows how to not have it on anymore. And then it'll go, it'll wave its way and weave its way through everything. And I think the difference between when you have the ESB energy present on a call, like the reset call, or 15 billion, or a lot of you probably been on that too, is that in an ESB class, we're going on a very specific and unspecific journey into that energy. And you are part of that journey in a even more, nearly like strangely personal way. It's like you're coming there to be part of that journey. You're choosing to come to an ESB class and to go with him on all these sessions. So I would say it's like turning that ESB dial up a zillion time. So if you have any sense or no sense of the energy when you're on calls with it, it doesn't really matter, because what happens in a class is like they take that and then do until you can't screw it anymore, like the dial. Yeah. That's, for me, that's my best description. So it doesn't really go off right now. You can also choose to have it on. Like I noticed, like even during this call, it's like at times I'm like, there's near like we should stop talking and just allowing the energy to be there, because as soon as we bring it up and ask for it, it actually becomes present. And the more you play with the ESB energy and the symphony energy, the more you wield it like your lightsaber, whatever they're called. Yeah. The more you're able to play with it, it becomes malleable. You know when to broadband it. You know how to play the symphony, really, that all those energies are. So I would say it's this whole world or universe that you enter into when you start actually actively choosing this and actively starting to learn how to wield energy. It's the best way. And synthesize with it, like become part of it, become part of that creation. So energetic synthesis.
The word synthesis has always confused me dynamically as part of this whole thing, but after today's conversation, I'm getting it on a totally different level. So I'm very grateful.
And I wonder, I think people have different, like sometimes it's energy, sometimes it's being, and sometimes synthesis is that word that you kind of, I don't know. So maybe that is the exact thing that you know. Maybe synthesis is your thing. Maybe that's what you actually already would beautifully.
Yeah, and what I'd love to end with, because it's just my favorite part about it all, is when you go to a class and or have an ESB session with Dane, he said, sorry, the other thing that the ESB energy does is actually get you to stop talking by screwing up your words.
Yeah. Yes.
So I'm not drunk. I'm just slurring because of the ESB energy.
And, and if you guys are on now, and if you've been on for a little while, also notice what's happening with your bodies.
Yeah.
Because as Megan mentioned, it really, it isn't just about your being, and it isn't just about your body. It is that body, you, universe, bodies around you, all of it. And if you like, for my body, there is a more sense of aliveness in my molecules after the conversation. And that's like, it just kind of sparkles between them. So just notice if anything, like,
all of your molecules are the popcorn just popping around.
so see if you have any popcorn in you after the conversation, and whatever that is. And if you don't, you're still not wrong. And just by starting to notice these like little changes, you become more energetically aware. And when you become more energetically aware, you actually have the chance to play with it, try it out, explore it even more. So,
okay, so I want to ask you this. You have an ESB class coming up that you're choosing to attend, I believe, in Barcelona, in Spain, in March. It's like 3 weeks away. If you could get anything out of the class, what would it be?
That's a wonderful. Oh, and can I say, this is a great, great question to ask yourself before coming to any class at all, like NESB, definitely. So if I could have anything out of that class, what would it be? What comes up is total receiving. Total receiving, like with no barriers and none of that, like the computing thing again, like just total receiving. That's what I like. Thank you. That's beautiful. So Megan, are you coming?
I'm definitely coming online. I am still like working on the, flight stuff with all these other commitments I have, this being a mother, those things you choose. But I'll be online for sure. And I will definitely be at the ESB at Elugar in April.
So if you could have anything, what would you have?
Well, when you were giving yours, I was like, I started, getting mine already because I'm a thinker. And what I would really like is any like wall that I still have up, which, it's a giant request, but you can ask for anything. You don't even have to judge if your ask is correct or not, or if it's possible. So you just go for it. But I would like to not have these walls, and I would like to be able to have this intense caring, like intense receiving, like the intensity of it. Cause I get that I still do this thing where it's like, oh, all right, that's enough. I'm going to go over here because this is just a little too intense for me right now. It's like too much receiving, too much communion, too much of something. And so I get that it would be so wonderful to not have the walls anymore. So that's what I'm asking for. Total raw, no walls, even if I turn into dust or cry for a whole year. Or become so happy that, whatever. That's the thing. I'm like, oh, I'll probably be crying the whole time. Like, what if I just become so happy it doesn't even matter?
What if that's even more why you're avoiding it?
Exactly. Like, oh, I gotta still be sad for a little bit longer.
So if you're listening to this, we are going to end very soon. But if you're listening to this, if you're going to Barcelona or Elugar for the ESB, if you could have anything, what would you ask for? And even if you're not yet choosing that, like if you're just pondering choosing that, if you were going to Barcelona or to Elugar for the ESBs, what would you ask for? If you could ask for anything, what would that be?
And you can ask for it now.
Yeah, you can definitely ask right now. You don't have to wait until, you don't have to wait ever for anything. You can always ask.
Cool.
Okay.
Thank you, Kat. This was amazing and wonderful. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you for everyone on here who listened. If you're watching this somewhere and you're wondering if you're watching it live, you're good. But see, I can't even make sense of anything. There's going to be translation, basically, and you'll find it on the Access Multilingual channel. And I'm going to stop talking because it's not even working anymore.
You'll find it on the Access Multilingual YouTube channel.
YouTube channel. There you go. See,
Thank
now
you.
two of us to have one brain. It works.
Thank you, Megan. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thanks everyone. And thanks
Bye.
translators. Bye-bye.